Seats. We're going to get this meeting underway. This is the Wednesday, August 17th, 2002 meeting of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. I will call on the clerk to call the roll to establish quorum.
Commissioner Cavell?
Here.
Commissioner Charles?
Present.
Commissioner Gershenson? Commissioner Gingell? Here. Commissioner Hoffman?
Present.
Commissioner Jackson? Here. Commissioner Joliet?
Here.
Commissioner Kokendorfer? Here. Commissioner Kowal?
Here.
Commissioner Kuhn?
Here.
Commissioner Long?
Here.
Commissioner Lubes?
Here.
Commissioner Markham?
Here.
Commissioner McGillivray?
Here.
Commissioner Miller? Commissioner Moss? Here. Commissioner Nelson? Here. Commissioner Powell? Here. Commissioner Spiz?
Present.
Commissioner Whitebert?
Here.
Commissioner Woodward?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The invocation this evening will be led by the Honorable Commissioner Gwen Markham, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Commissioner Markham, the floor is yours.
O God of peace, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Even if we may have different opinions, give us unity of spirit. Help us to listen to each other as we each share our points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a greater outcome. Help us to work as a whole. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Markham. It will move us on to approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes are adopted unanimously. That moves us to approval of the agenda, moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Long. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is approved unanimously. That'll bring us to communications. I will first call on Commissioner Powell for the first proclamation honoring Montana Jones. Hey.
Good evening, everyone. As my commissioners and the community, you may not know today, but commissioners know that I'm always trying to honor individuals in our county doing great things, and especially African-American individuals who live throughout Oakland County. And so one day I was at the hair shop. Me and this young lady goes to the same hair shop. And her mother was telling me about her, and her daughter was expressing some of the things that she do. And I said, oh, wow, that's a good, good story. So I'm a county commissioner and I want to honor you. And she agreed to let me honor her. So we have the Oakland County Board of Commissioners proclamation honoring Montana Jones. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Whereas the incredible potential of bright, dedicated, and driven young people are their important role in shaping the future of our country, our county and our country cannot be understated. And whereas Montana Jones is one such individual, Montana is a senior at Cranbrook Kingswood in Bloomfield Township, Michigan. She has achieved high academic standing and has been on the honor roll or dean's list since kindergarten. And whereas Montana has a passion for the arts and especially enjoys theater, on June 20th, she performed at the Arts for Autism Benefit Concert on Broadway in New York City, where she performed songs from Grease, the musical, in the lead role of Rizzo. And whereas in May, Montana won the Gold Award for her contemporary vocal performance in the NAACP Detroit Branch Afro-Academic Cultural Technology and Scientific Olympics competition. She will perform and compete nationally at the NAACP National Convention in Atlantic City, New Jersey in July. And when she comes up, she can tell us how she did there. Whereas in 2021, Montana was awarded the Miles Lewis Award for Social Justice from Cranbrook, Kingswood, and uses the grant money to start a camp called Shoot for the Moon, Land Amongst the Stars, where she hopes to inspire other kids to use their voice to be an agent of change. And whereas on this special occasion, we join with Montana's family, friends, and teachers to congratulate her on her many achievements and to honor her for her hard work and commitment to the arts. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Commissioner Angela Powell, I wanted to recognize her. I'm sorry, Commissioner Chuck Moss, I forgot to invite you up here with me. She attends school in Commissioner Moss's district, and she resides in Farmington, which is with Commissioner William Miller, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim special commendation to Montana Jones. We wish her continued success in all her future endeavors. Please come and join me. You want to come up, Mr. Moss, so we can take a picture with her soon, too? So I'll let you say some words.
Hi. First of all, once again, I'm Montana. It's great to be here in front of you all. I'm really thankful for this proclamation. It means the world to be honored for all the hard work that I've been doing with my summer camp and with my acting, because I believe that through theater, we can make a change. Children can learn how to use their voice to speak up about things that they're passionate about, how to be leaders in their community, and that's the most important thing, especially for this generation, is just to make leaders. And so I'm hoping I can do that through my talents in the art to spread that to other children. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of time at the PAC.
Oh, yeah, I do tons of time at the PAC,
Have you ever
yeah.
taken a science course from a Miss Moss?
I have not taken a class, but my friends have, so I do know her.
That's my daughter.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So now you can say,
Yeah.
what's her name?
I'll let her know that I met you. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
I didn't embarrass her.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a picture with you.
Perfect.
And
Great. Another pop. Keep up the great work, Montana. Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Next up, we have a presentation from the Oakland Community Health Network, an update. We receive regular updates, and this year and the last few years, the partnership is only strengthened here with Oakland County. And so to lead us through this conversation, I'm going to call on the CEO, Dana Lazenby, to give us an update on the work that we're doing and the people of Oakland County OCHN is able to serve.
Good evening, and thank you to this Board of Commissioners. I do have a few updates, and it's perfect timing. Miss Montana left so quickly. We need her to work on our Citizens Advisory Council with our youth that we're going to do. So I'll try to get in contact with her. She's a perfect candidate to work with us. I wanted to give a few updates on the programs that we're collaborating with, and also a few of the programs that we are really focused on at Oakland County Community Health Network. The School Mental Health Navigator Program, we want to thank you for that support. We have 4 hired school mental health navigators and a liaison that will help out with connecting families to services. This program is just kicking off, so we have 90 schools we've already contacted, and 41 have responded, and we are also working to contact other schools. And please remember, this is just not for public schools, it's all schools in the district, in the county. So we want to make sure that families and youth and school administrators know how to access resources regardless of insurance or funding. So that's going to be very important. Also, again, we want to thank Commissioner Spitz and the Health and Safety Community and Committee for their support for the Oxford Mental Health Benefit. Through this benefit, we're able to support families and communities that need to utilize mental health services but cannot do so because of the high cost of co-pays and deductibles. So we have had to date 127 families that actually requested to be reimbursed or to have those services paid for. And to date, we've provided $73,000, over $73,000 to those families. We have families that are still waiting to be reimbursed, and so we're doing ongoing outreach, to make sure that they have the appropriate information so we can verify and get those services paid for as well. And we're gonna do another new announcement letting people know how to access that benefit, because we know there are other families out there that may need it and may not know about it. So we also are doing our CIT, which is Crisis Intervention Training, and we know that this is a very critical program to the community, and what it is a 40-hour course between mental health professionals in the law enforcement community. And this law enforcement community is learning how to work with individuals who they encounter or are having a psychiatric or mental health crisis. So instead of jail, these individuals are referred and supported so they can get the services and supports they need. And it is a huge initiative and a partnership with the Sheriff's Office, but all of the law enforcement community within Oakland County. So we're proud, but we're a little competitive. We have trained 900 members of the law enforcement community since 2015. And our goal is really to reach every law enforcement officer we can. We know other communities that are doing that, so we want to exceed their goals and make sure that we have our officers trained and ready to work with individuals when they're facing a crisis. We also are proud to announce that we have a children's crisis unit that is is under construction now. It's right here on this campus at the Resource and Crisis Center. In that building, we will have 10 crisis beds for children who are in psychiatric crisis. What that really does allow us to do is to begin services and support for youth and families. When children go to the ED, they often are waiting to be transferred to another hospital, and sometimes getting into a hospital bed for psychiatric services can take days. And so you can imagine if you have a loved one or a family member who's in crisis, waiting in the ED, even with a physical ailment, waiting days to have a hospital bed where you can begin services and support can make matters much worse. So with this unit, it's so critical because as soon as the family and the youth walk on the unit, we will be able to begin services. So we have a provider that's already doing our mobile crisis and going out to the hospitals and working to help families get the support they need. We also want to highlight our sober support unit that is also on this campus in the Resource and Crisis Center. And really it is accommodations for people who are seeking substance use disorder treatment. And so it gives them a safe place to wait until we can identify a recovery setting for them to go to. The other thing I'll highlight, which I think is really critical to our partnership, is the co-responder program. That co-responder program currently exists with one of our clinicians who rides along with police officers serving Auburn Hills, Birmingham, and Bloomfield Hills. So that program started October of 2021, and to June to date, there have been 451 referrals where the law enforcement officer has included our staff person with them to go and check out a situation, 59 on-scene assists, and 449 follow-up calls. So not only do we go out with the law enforcement officers and help to intervene and address the situation, we make sure that we connect people to services. So once that co-responder does assist the police in that situation, she remembers, or she also connects with the family or the person after the situation is resolved. The last thing I want to do is thank you for your support in the resolution that you all signed probably about less than a year ago, I would say, for Senate Bills 597 and 598. And it's in opposition to the privatization of the community public mental health system. So we appreciate that support. And why it's so important to this community is it takes away the local incentives and the local programs that we're able to do, like the CIT and like the co-responder program. Those programs would be at risk if the local dollar is impacted by privatization of community mental health. So I just want to stress that and ask for your continued support. In my report, there's actually a link to a video, and it's an advocacy video, and the video is diverse, and it touches on a number of different people with different abilities, and it also represents members of this community. So people we actually serve or who receive services are in this video asking for your support in opposition to those bills as well. So that's all I have for today, and again, I want to really thank you for your support. The partnership has been amazing.
Thank you very much. If there's some commissioners that have a couple questions, I got Commissioner Gershenson followed by Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you for your report and for your patience. I know that you had to postpone, or we had to postpone your presentation, so it is so critical for us to get that data. We pass those bills, and then we pass it over to you. And so we need that feedback to know what's working and what isn't. But I also want to acknowledge your incredible staff. I have to give a shout out to Christine Burke. She has been our bridge for so many years, and she keeps our organizations connected. She has just a quiet, forceful voice, and we so appreciate you. And not to mention the two wonderful women sitting next to her, Suzanne Weinert and Teresa Zumbo, who you poached from us, but I'm trying to get over that.
I didn't want to bring them today.
But I also, Dana, have to say something to you, because I am working on so many projects right now, and I can't tell you that almost every time someone said, oh, well, we're working on that with OCHN, or OCHN is already working on that. It happens repeatedly. Since you've been with the organization, you have been just a tremendous partner. And we couldn't have all these great programs that I'm just so happy that the kids from Oxford are hearing all the amazing things we're doing, the co-responders program, which we're hoping to expand. But it's really your leadership and your ability to work with us. There's a lot of us here. It's not always easy, but I just wanted to say how much we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Marcia stole some of my thunder there, but I'd like to add to it. I can't give you enough appreciation to yourself, Christine, all the staff at OCHN for everything you've done, especially after the tragic day in Oxford on November 30th. And then the reimbursement program that you guys are helping us do, the CIT program, which every commissioner in here has heard me pound on the table multiple times. It's, to me, is the #1 program to make sure we mitigate, and something like Oxford never happens again. So to me, that is a program that I'm hoping grows and grows and grows and grows outside of Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan, across the country, and I will continue to beat that drum until we get to that point. You know, I want to get as many people trained in CIT as we can, not just officers, not just counselors, but public. Right? Let's get as many people informed so that if you see something, you can say something and feel comfortable with about what you're saying. Right? So with that, again, thank you. And of course, I can't forget all you commissioners. You know, without you, a lot of these things wouldn't be possible. Commissioner Cavell and you, Marcia, for the CIT program and all the work we're doing on the anti-violence program, I can't thank you enough, so I appreciate it. But without OCHN, we wouldn't be able to get most of this done. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. And Dana, I mean, I think it's been, said. I mean, you outlined them just by quick notes, 8 programs that many came into creation in response to a crisis in the moment, and the ability to service so many people and be there and learn from it and to help inform the creation of the next. You're doing a great job. Thank you to the entire OCH team. We stand ready to maintain our partnership and look forward to the great things ahead. So thank you very much.
I had something, Chair.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Dana,
Commissioner Jackson.
I just want to say as well, you're taking mental health care to the streets, and you're taking intervention to the next level where it's needed. I wanted to ask about mental health first aid training and where we are with that initiative and what we could do to help promote it a little bit better.
And our expert is here, thank goodness. But mental health first aid training didn't really take a pause, but it did during the pandemic. We had to move to virtual, and it's best taught in person. So I know we're picking back up on our training, and mental health first training really is specific to individuals who are part of the community. There's a youth version of the mental health first aid for students in schools and things of that nature. And there's also one for adults. So anybody in the community can take advantage of mental health first aid. It's a free training that really does allow us to support each other in the community. When we see someone, like Commissioner Spiz said, that is in need, we know how to respond to that need. And so the more we can do those kind of trainings, people don't have to live in silence, and we can help them as much as possible. So the CIT training is really specific to law enforcement officers because they're not trained to be social workers. So they want to address the situation safely so no one gets hurt, including them. And the mental health first aid is really for the layperson, the non-professional who really just wants to help the community and know how to address somebody in need. So thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you again. Another round of applause for OCHN. All right, we have a few other communications. I will call on our clerk.
Dated August 17th, 2022, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted to the chairperson of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines in the board's grant submission process and calendar, it is not possible to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. I have authorized the submission of the following grant applications: the Healthy Aging Grant for the Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $500,000 with a grant application deadline of August 10th, 2022. The fiscal year 2023 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program for the Sheriff's Office, the Prosecutor's Office, and Community Corrections in the amount of $84,918 with a grant application deadline of August 8th, 2022. The fiscal year 2022 COPS Technology and Equipment Program Grant for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $1 million with a grant application deadline of August 2nd, 2022. And finally, the fiscal year 2023 Services Raise the Age Grant for the Circuit Court in the amount of $750,000 with a grant application deadline of August 10th, 2022. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Dated August 17th, 2022. Dear Commissioners, please accept this letter as notification that I've made the following appointments to the Oakland County Out of School Time Learning Supports Ad Hoc Committee: Hillary Chambers, member; Rudy Hobbs, member; Ken Dobson, alternate member. Sincerely, David Coulter, County Executive. Dated August 17th, 2022, please accept this letter as notification on the appointments of the Oakland County Out of School Time Learning Supports Ad Hoc Committee. The ad hoc committee will be organized under the provisions of the board rules. The members of the task force will be Commissioners Penny Lubes, Chair; Yolanda Smith-Charles; and Phil Weipert, with alternates Commissioners Gershenson and Moss. Pursuant to Miscellaneous Resolution 22280, the charge of the ad hoc committee is to approve the action plan developed by the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And finally, the Oakland County Street Tree Enhancement Match Grant Program Report is in your packets. The program report dated August 8th. I'll just read the program summary. OakStem is a pilot matching grant program to incentivize local public street tree plantings within the George W. Kuhn Drainage District combined sewer area. The George W. Kuhn District has an impervious surface area of 49.2% compared to 19.9% for the county as a whole. Tree cover in the George W. Kuhn District is 23.3%, while the overall county is 44%. The high impervious surface area and minimal tree cover results in large peak storm flows during storm events. This program is intended to provide an incentive to George W. Kuhn communities to either begin or continue and expand their street tree planting programs with the goal of reducing impervious surface area and increasing street cover in the George W. Kuhn Drainage District. The report includes program elements, approved budget, grant summary, and community feedback.
And 1,260 trees planted. The motion to receive and file the communications, moved by Cavell, seconded by Hoffman. Anyone want to speak to those communications? Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be brief. I just want to speak on the OakStem project that we just talked about. This came about, as many of you know, as a result of the flooding of 2014 on the southeast side of Oakland County. And these 14 communities all have part of the George Kuhn Drain in them. And this came from that program, and it's a really great partnership between the county executive, the Board of Commissioners, the Water Resources Commissioner, the local communities, and there were even a couple of agencies like the Detroit Zoo that wanted to be part of this, and we were able to combine funds from all of those communities. As Chair Woodward said, we planted 1,260 trees this year from that program, and the feedback has been, please can we do this again? So it is a way to address climate change. They were native trees to Michigan. They have good long roots, and I want to see more of this too. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion on the communications? Seeing none, all in favor say aye of receiving and filing the communications.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the communications are received unanimously. That will move us to the first public comment of this evening. During public comment, this is the opportunity to speak on any item on the agenda. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. Direct your comments to me, the chair. I will start with, I'm going to start with Catherine Kennedy, and then others can just, come up to the mic. We got a smaller crowd of late, and so if you just give your name and community from where you're from, we go from there. Welcome.
Hello, Commissioners. Catherine Kennedy from Lake Orion. This is the third board meeting this month, so this is part of why you have fewer people. Some people are actually on vacation, and I actually am quite shocked at how much you managed to cram into this one still. So, as far as communications, I actually take personal offense that so many of the programs that are controversial, like $750,000 for the youth delinquent grants. Last year had an awful lot for translation fees I never got explanations for. They call it the Raise the Age grant. Last year you were the one that just did the appointment, didn't have time to review it again either. So I'm not at all happy with the out-of-school learning. These are people that don't support our Constitution, don't support America, and the critical race theory is destroying our children. And moving along to 9, I absolutely do not think the airport should be under the management of the Economic Development Department of Oakland County. I only recently figured that that had happened back in February at that 9:30 in the morning meeting when most people missed that you created the Attainable Housing Trust, which, by the way, ARPA just changed some language, so I don't know if that became legal now. And then we have a proposal on here, 11F, where we want do-over bids. So if people bid and they aren't the highest and we have a local person that didn't bid right, then they get do-over bids. How about we just make procurement local first? No foreign invitations for bid. I mean, this is ridiculous. We have millions that are going to foreign competitors and foreign corporations of our tax dollars, and a do-over bid? No, thank you. 12C, that's where you're going to appropriate $500,000 to the local pilot program in partnership with the Community Health for Crisis Intervention Training. $500,000 exceeds the authority of that committee, I believe. And then the grand finale, 15A, where you're creating a land bank authority for Oakland County, which is designed, basically, they're taking the model from Detroit and Flint, areas that have trouble selling their land, but instead, we do it in a Democratic caucus, refuse the FOIA request that I made for both the June 7th and June 23rd meetings, where the treasurer did a nice presentation, both of those meetings, but I didn't see that same presentation to the full body of the commission or citizens, which I take personal affront to. And let's see, among the things, the Democratic caucus is on the June 23rd, they mentioned they created a land bank. Jill was the property expert. I've written down there were 461 properties and 424 in Pontiac. And my note to self, I need to check the video, which they wouldn't give me. The land bank was explained by the treasurer as a separate entity housed within the treasurer's office.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. Can you
Intergovernmental
wrap up your
agreement with
comment?
State Land Bank Authority negotiated by Mr. Woodward. Reason cited to keep the property and
Okay.
allow a
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy.
50%
Your
tax
time is up.
capture of the brownfield funds you
Ms.
couldn't
Kennedy?
get before.
Thank you very much. Anyone else that would like to speak during public comment?
Getting ready.
Yep. If you just introduce yourself and tell me where you're from.
My name is Dylan Morris, and I am the executive director of No Future Without Today, a C4 organization that is pushing for sensible gun reforms and expanded mental health access. We had the pleasure of meeting with both caucuses in their meeting times earlier, but I want to say thank you for having us here tonight. We were really pleased to see the CIT pilot program on the agenda tonight. We're very excited about that. And yeah, I'll give it over to Olivia McMillan.
Dylan, where are you from?
I'm from Oxford High School. I go to Oxford. Yep.
Hi, I'm Olivia McMillan. I just graduated this last May, and I'm the Outreach Director of No Future Without Today. So far with No Future Without Today, we've been talking to legislators and coming up with ways to prevent gun violence in our schools. We partnered with March for Our Lives and hosted a march that took place on June 11th in downtown Oxford, and we had over 600 participants. We had speakers such as Raina, Jill Sauve, Justin Sterling's mom, and other gun violence survivors and activists. We've also been to multiple meetings with local activists and leaders, including Femmes for Democracy and Invisible Fighting 9. We've been able to share what No Future Without Today stands for and our own stories. We've also been able to meet new people and connect with others. Here's Raina.
Hi, my name is Raina St. Juliana, and I'm the co-vice president of No Future Without Today. I lost my little sister on November 30th. As Dylan said, we are glad to see the County Commission and Oakland County Sheriff's Office continue to pursue crisis intervention training for its staff. We would also like to see free trigger locks given away at events or mailed to residents. We've heard that the Sheriff's Department currently has access to many. We view community education and support from the Sheriff's Department as an important step to safer communities. And finally, although more controversial, we encourage the county to continue to pursue local gun buyback events to begin to remove some guns from our neighborhoods. No Future Without Today and its volunteers and partner organizations look forward to the ways we can work with the county to push some of these ideas forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. Anybody else would like to speak to us during public comment? There'll be a second public comment at the end of the meeting. So we will close public comment and we'll move on to the business of tonight's meeting. First up is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to move the consent agenda? Moved by Cavell, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please prompt the vote?
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The consent agenda is adopted. And that will move us on to the regular agenda. All the items under economic development and infrastructure were taken up under the consent, as well as finance. That will bring us to legislative affairs and government operations. And I will call on the chair, Commissioner Kristen Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one item on the regular agenda, item A, Oakland County Land Bank Authority appointments. Mr. Chair, having reviewed applications and conducting interviews, the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee recommends the following individuals to be appointed to the Oakland County Land Bank Authority. City official for a 2-year term from 8/17/22 through 8/17/24 is Kalfani Stevens. Township official, 1-year term from 8/17/22 through 8/17/23, Jeffrey Campbell. And general public, 1-year term from 8/17/22 through 8/17/23, Martin Manna. And Mr. Chair, this concludes my report.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Any discussion on the committee recommendations to the Land Bank Authority? Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to be voting no on the appointments because I voted no on the land bank. Just my personal opinion is we don't need the land bank. It's not appropriate for Oakland County, and so therefore I'll be voting no on the appointments.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 14 yeas, 6 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The appointments are confirmed. Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes any business under the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
All right, thank you very much. There is no business under the Public Health and Safety Committee. That will move us to reports of special committees. There's none. Special order business, none. Unfinished business. That'll bring us to new and miscellaneous business. And I will, first up, I believe that there's a resolution. I'll call on Commissioner Jackson. I think your mic is a little down. You're moving to suspend the rules to take up today to recognize August 22 as Black Business Month in Oakland County.
As it's time sensitive.
Because of time sensitivity. Moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the rules are suspended unanimously. Commissioner Jackson moves the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion? Any further discussion?
I would just like to just speak to it a little bit.
Sure.
This is a national recognition of Black Business Month across the country. And we know throughout history, despite facing systemic racism, redlining, and even extreme violence, as evidenced through the Tulsa Massacre of 1921, Black businesses still continue to grow and thrive throughout our nation. There are more African American or Black businesses in Oakland County than any county in the state except for Wayne County. These businesses contribute more than $288 billion, with a B, in annual payroll into our local economy. So I'm very proud to bring this forth, and I hope that we all can support it, and anyone who would like to sign on designates that choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Next up, I will call on Commissioner Cavell. You have a resolution to introduce? Around anti-violence initiative to create the Oakland County buyback?
Yes.
Call me a seer.
Oh, wow. This is exciting. Glad y'all are here for this.
Yes. So Commissioner Cavell, what do you got?
All right, I'd like to introduce the Oakland County Gun Buyback Initiative and refer to Public Health and Safety.
Exactly. Referred without objection. Next up, Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to introduce a miscellaneous resolution in support of Michigan Senate Bill 58 and House Bill 4314, holding polluters accountable.
And refer that to Legislative Affairs and Government Operations.
Oh, right. Yes, thank
without
you.
objection. All right. Any other new and miscellaneous business? Seeing none, we'll move to announcements. Any announcements? Seeing none, that will bring us to our second public comment. Got that done before 7 o'clock, commissioners. Good job. This is the second public comment opportunity for anyone of the public to come and speak on any topic. Again, same general rules. If you can just introduce yourself, community where you're from, and please keep your comments limited to 3 minutes. Since we have a small group, just come up to the mic if you would like to speak during the second public comment.
Catherine Kennedy, Lake Orion. I am so frustrated with our country right now because so many of the people don't seem to comprehend basic math. Today, or it wasn't today, $739 billion for an Inflation Reduction Act that can mathematically only create higher inflation? I don't get it. I did finance. The business finance doesn't use all these manipulative tactics, or if they do and they get caught, they at least get fired for it. So that's actually something that really upsets me a lot. I come here, your print of your documents in your agenda, the agenda deadline automatically prints by default 14 days before the date of a meeting. Did you ever look at that? You are actually supposed to give us all the documentation of all the agenda items you plan to discuss to spend all of our money wastefully as you've done for over a year. And yet, even though December 6, 2021, they finally figured out after they audited 2021, we had a huge deficit. Oh my goodness. Well, lucky for us, we had a huge surplus because we used to manage our money very carefully and effectively and prudently, and we have to focus on spending taxpayer dollars only on our taxpayers. When did it become the World Economic Forum here? Literally. We have policies that are created, and I did some more research on the WEFORM.org, do it yourself. The China Energy Group is one of the partners. And guess what? They are doing transformation. Gee, all the same words the Democratic Party has been using to use as an excuse to transform our society is actually coming out of China. Have we become the indoctrination nation now? And so many of this I have actually found in foreign publications. So when Biden announced $280 billion for chip manufacturing, and I had already read in an Italian article that there was a merger created between Samsung and Stellantis, two foreign entities, to build and manage our chip plant in Indiana. I'm going, what's wrong with this picture, guys? Americans need to wake up, open your eyes, do research, and read all the way to the bottom. The Senate bill that they talk about you need to do for voting, I think it actually looks more like they looked at the Baker, Jimmy Carter, actual detailed analysis on election fraud and picked those things that were the most likely to be able to be fraudulently manipulated, ballot boxes and mail-in ballots. That's what they're pushing. When you digitize us,
Thank you, Mrs.
you allow
Kennedy.
the globe to take over all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who would like to speak during public comment? Welcome, sir.
My name is Mark Forshey, a half-century in Oakland. Now imagine a one-size-fits-all clothing store. What an absurd money loser. But in politics, people love one-size-fits-all. How bizarre. And schemes like this are, well, they said it before, not so smart transportation scheme proposal. But in Oakland County, we have diversity. We have agriculture. We have exurbia. We have suburbia. We have old towns with close together lots. We have businesses. We have all sorts of, we have dirt roads. We have farms and fields and forests and all these. Not everyone and everything needs the same thing throughout the whole county. And I simply don't think everyone should be forced into it. What about opt-outs? No, we're not going to do it. Everyone will be locked into this power grab, and for 10 years, not 2 or 3, but 10 years. That's a decade long of that. And once a political system is established, it is pretty much impossible to ever get rid of it. And then the inevitable bureaucratic system comes along with a whole potpourri and a plethora of rules that stagnate, destroy, or diminish competition. We can have all sorts of incredible advances in transportation. We don't need this. At the last board meeting, there were 2 state senators, not 1, not 2, but 2, and a variety of representatives from a variety of communities, and they all said they had local transportations that they'd taken the initiative to initiate and get going at far less cost. than what is on the ballot. So, and I'm really, as I said, I'm really upset about the opt-outs. It's like those gangster movies. Forget about it. You're not going to get it. The whole county would be forced into an expensive bureaucracy, forcing people, and this is coercion. This is, people don't get to choose. It's not like going to Walmart. You are forced to do this. So it's a clear sign when people are forced into something they don't want, and the whole county has to do it. That's a clear sign there's something wrong. And so I was wondering how many people who supported this, how many of you ride buses? Do you do what you're so in favor of? Once a week, twice a week? You go out in all sorts of Michigan weather and ride buses? If you could speak, I don't think, I'd probably be hearing crickets. So it would be good if you gave us a good example. Lead by example. Look what we're doing. You should do it too, citizens, but that won't happen. And finally, freedom lovers see government as a last resort. Authoritarians see government as a first resort. We should have a lot more truly free market solutions to this other than this ballot proposal.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to speak during public comment? Seeing none, I'll declare our second public comment closed, and we stay adjourned until September 1, 2022, or I call the chair. Thank you very much, everyone. Be safe.